Hello, everyone. Happy Yu-Gi-Oh! Tuesday. Today, you'll face the power of a god. We're doing, the Slifer episodes. We also have the Mako episodes, Joey fighting Mako, doing a duel against Mako. So get ready for some fish as well. Finally got caught up on Behind the Bastards. It is a very long podcast. It is an exceedingly long podcast. It's incredible how much episode there is. And they do 2 a week. They've done 2 a week for years. It's crazy. Freaky Fish Tuesday. That's true. That's what it is. That's what they call it. And you know, I have the I have the aquarium video ready to go when we get to the YouTube side of things. So there's going to be even more fish. There's always going to be fish here on the channel, I think. Fish forever. Fish forever. So this weekend I went to the beach. Speaking of fish, luckily I didn't manage to miss any of my streams. I had to do a little easier stream on Sunday because I was tired as hell. But and not tired because I did anything while I was at the beach. I was very, very relaxed, but emotionally exhausting family, let's say. Yeah. But we're back. Our water's out again though. Our water got fixed. We went to the beach. We came back. The water's broken again. So that's awesome. Luckily, they actually came out way faster than we thought they would to get it replaced, the thing that was broken. Then they actually figured out what was wrong with this time, hopefully. So the water is fixed now, but it needs to chlorinate for a couple days. I'm not sure exactly how long, but so there's going to be a while where I still don't have access to real water. I have to use this shitty bottled water. I hate this shit. Tastes nasty. Tastes like fucking plastic. And I'm, destroying the world drinking it. It's awesome. But for a while is what I have to do. But only until the chlorination is done. Only until the chlorination is done. Oh, it's way more chlorinated than a pool. It's like extremely more chlorinated than a pool. Pool chlorination is a level that's safe for you to touch. This is not. I can't even take a shower. It is literally not safe to touch your skin. That's how chlorinated this water is. So once that's done, then I can finally have normal water again. But until that point, I'm on this fucking bottled water. But whatever. Are we ready for Yu-Gi-Oh? Are we ready for Yu-Gi-Oh? Let's Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh! Fair play. Fair duel. Let's go. My mouse is charging, so it's a little harder to use because it's plugged in. It's a very stiff cable. All right, here we go. Aren't you supposed to do specific cards at the beginning of the duel, though? Like, you can't choose after the fact. You're supposed to put up, without the dub, Trump, really building him up to be this, conquer the world kind of fucker, is actually a very... Has Bakura's voice changed now? Is this when Bakura's voice changes? The voice actor? Because wait, I specifically told them not to give you a dual disc. What the fuck? I specifically told them not to give you a dual disc. What the fuck? He's like, wait, I specifically put you at level 2. Whatever. Whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Ooh, hey, there's some thunder here. The god card being summoned has released the thunder. All right, we're going to take a quick ad break. We'll be right back with the last episode of the Slifer, and then we'll do the Joey thing. See you in a sec. All right, we're back. Fair play, fair duel. It'll show up in a second. Any second now? So awesome. I'll even forgive these like way off model in that shot. He's been way off model. This Kaiba. Look at that's not the same Kaiba. Emery, thank you for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Got a raid and run. Have a nice day. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you enjoyed Vampire Crawl. Oh, fucking Vampire Crawlers is so goddamn good. I hope you enjoyed that. We're watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. It's the fucking Slifer episode. It's such a fucking baller ass phrase. God is using infinity to trick us. God is using infinity to trick us. Kaiba walks in and immediately discovers the out, and Yugi's over here like, what's the background? Makes it easier for them not to have to animate, because like Strings is the one talking, so they just had the menacingly grimacing Merrick, and they move up from Strings. They don't have to animate Strings talking anymore. They could save some money. That is true. When you're actually in the duel, it can sometimes be harder to find that out. Now the problem is, unlike in a real game, Yugi will just draw the out, but like it actually do have enough will to force the out sometimes. I have done this multiple times on camera, willing super polymerization. Wait a minute. So the way this thing works is he's activating mind control, chained to Revival Jam, summoning itself back, targeting the Revival Jam to bring it to his side of the field before it's actually come back to the... All right, we're going to take a quick BRB. We'll be back in just a little bit for the second half of this arc.
Godzilla, king of the monsters.
Surging up alive from the depths of the sea in a tidal wave of horror.
See before your very eyes a city of 6 million wiped out by a monster breathing flame.
What is Godzilla?
A creature from prehistoric time?
Or a mutant monster created by man's tampering with nature?
Godzilla!
Modern weapons cannot kill it.
Can science find a way to stop this creature's mad rampage before civilization is destroyed?
Or the answer, see.
All right, we're back. Time for our last Yu-Gi-Oh episode of the day, which will show up. Duelist Kingdom ass shit. The monster was hiding, and so you couldn't activate Magic Arm Shield? Sure. Instead of giving him the ritual spell to summon that monster, he's just gonna give him another monster. But there's a lot of things I don't remember, so that's fair enough. All right, let's YouTube or browser scene. Okay, as a reminder, Batchu's Library, subscribe. The new Rivalry Format episode is out. You can watch it now. It has not been as well viewed as the previous Rivalry Format video, so check it out if you want. Also, I released a new song recently. It's Hurt. It's a cover of Hurt, Johnny Cash's version. I think it's a cool song. You should check it out. Yeah, Ali's in it. Watch it. It's a cool one. It's got Ada as well. This is what we're going to be watching. The title is clickbait, just so you're aware. Just ahead of time, I want you to know the title is clickbait as best I can tell. So, what do we want to do first? Do we want to watch this video or do we want to do Genesis format? Because I've got a whale of a tale here. Vidya? All right. We'll do that. But first I want to show you the deck we're working with. It's this one. This thing is heinous. God fucking damn it, dude. I hate you so much. Quit removing the cards from my deck when you change them over. Jesus Christ. Okay, so we went 3 of that, 2 of that. What else did it remove? We want 1 of that, 1 of that, 2 of that, 1 of that. Okay, that's solved. What's the fucking third, the last card here? Genuinely blanking on that. God damn it, why does it do this? It wasn't a third copy of Disturbance. Disturbance is not that good. Oh, I know what it is, because we're only at 6-7 points. It's the 33 points monster, Witness of the Ancient. There we go. So this is a deck we'll be showing off, but first we'll do the Vidya. All right.
Imagine this. You're running around the playground on a beautiful sunny day.
Okay, I'm imagining it.
You have no cares, no worries, just a stack of cards in your pocket held together by a rubber band. This is, for a lot of us, how Yu-Gi-Oh started. There was no meta, no restrictions. There was basically no rules at all. But Yu-Gi-Oh is still around today, and it's changed a lot. Like, a lot. Even though many of us have very
It always had, it always had rules, right? Just because you didn't play rules on the playground doesn't mean it didn't have rules.
fond memories of Yu-Gi-Oh from our childhood, it certainly doesn't have the same cultural significance as it did 25 years ago. And to be honest, some of the non-card game people I talk to are surprised to hear it even still exists at all. Over the years, there have been plenty of rule changes, new card types and summoning mechanics added, and of course, plenty of effects that only seem to get longer and more convoluted with each passing year.
Yeah, that's right.
So
The video
after
games had the
dominating
rules.
our
You could learn the
childhood
rules from the
free
video
time,
games.
What is it that caused so many people to turn their back
Granted, you would learn the OCG rulings on stuff, but still.
on Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, the complaints I hear most often can be boiled down to one simple thing. Modern Yu-Gi-Oh is too complicated. And yes, I'd be crazy to say this isn't at least a little bit true. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very complicated and deep game to play at pretty much any level. But today, I'd like to show you that the complexity of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually its biggest strength.
Because it makes it good. It makes it a good game as opposed to all the other games.
Maybe, just maybe, since the old school days, things haven't quite changed as much as you might think.
See what I mean? The intro is the title is actually clickbait. It's not actually about that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Were completely unmatched in terms of impact on our lives. The dramatic action of the anime carried over directly to the playground, and stories of schools completely banning Yu-Gi-Oh! Became more and more common as real-life physical fights continuously broke out over the cards. But
to be fair, a lot of those fights were because people were playing with the anti-duels, which they learned from fucking Battle City. But the funny thing is, Battle City is like very clear about how the anti-rules are bad.
Who could blame us? This was high-stakes stuff. The anime was constantly filled with characters we loved being pushed to their limits, and more often than not, dueling in life or death situations.
Dude, get a fucking click filter.
So what
There's
could
so
be
many
better
clicks.
than buying some of the cards for
Drink
yourself
some water.
and participating in these
Something.
epic moments on your own? But this
Like I get clicks in mine still. I've tried my best to remove them. I'm a fairly clicky person, but I do better than he's doing right now. Jesus. Hear that thunder, by the way? Big thunder.
leads me to my main point. From the beginning, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was
Still
never
going.
really meant to be a real-life playable card game. If we take a look at what Yu-Gi-Oh! Was originally created for, really, it was nothing more than a simple plot device. Yu-Gi-Oh! Originally started as a manga series where the spirit of the pharaoh would awaken and take
No,
over
I could
Yugi's
not.
body to play shadow games
I could not
against
stop.
various corrupt people in the real world. Very notably though, the game being played in each chapter was not
Does every video about Yu-Gi-Oh have to start with season 0? I think like every every video about Yu-Gi-Oh has to start with talking about season 0.
not the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game
Like the
itself.
season 0 territory.
Instead, the
the
Pharaoh
first
would play
arc.
deadly games to match the situation the characters were in, with completely made-up rules designed to test the morality of
Where's the Rada bingo board? Yeah.
opponents. Things like stabbing a knife into the back of your hand to claim as much money as possible, or grabbing coins out of a shoe containing a live scorpion. And as you can probably guess, these games
Why didn't that one get into season 0, by the way?
all had brutal consequences for losing. Like,
But they were all okay. So the brutal consequences weren't actually brutal. They were all revealed to be in their minds. At least most of them. Some of them I think
set
weren't, but
completely on fire.
I think this is the only one that wasn't actual literally happening. This one actually was literally happening. Yeah, the rest of them were not literally happening.
levels of brutal. Yeah, the Pharaoh's a good guy, right? The idea of kids who were fans of this series trying to replicate some of these games on their own became more and more of a concern as the manga got more popular. So Kazuki Takahashi was looking for ways to tone things down a bit.
Source? I've never heard that before in my life. Source? This is the thing that bugs me about basically everyone else in the space. I this is why I do my best to fucking cite things, and I could be better about it too, honestly. But man, people just say shit without sources at all. I fucking cite your goddamn sources. It could be true what he's saying. I have no idea because he didn't cite a source.
And eventually, that's why he introduced Kaiba. At first, Kaiba was similar to all the other one-off antagonists of the series, and was only designed for Yugi to show up and play a one-off shadow game of the week against. This time it was a card game called Magic and Wizards, and this is our first look at what would eventually become the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game in real life. And this chapter took Japan by storm. Seemingly overnight, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was becoming a household name, and Kaiba was quickly becoming one of the most popular characters in the entire series. Because
But I just want a source. I just want a source.
of this,
Is there a source in the description? No.
for the first time ever, Kaiba was brought back for a second time. This time, he had an
Like they're just assuming that this was the case because Kaiba was brought back.
entire story arc based around his rematch with Yugi, which included an epic final battle where we get our first look at the iconic summoning of Exodia. It didn't take long for the manga series to take on a whole new direction after this, since this was the most popular story arc by far.
Just
Soon,
cite a
the
fucking
entire story
source.
was
Please
entirely
just cite a
based around
fucking
the card game
source.
Magic and Wizards, or as it was soon renamed, Duel Monsters. Yeah, let's be honest, the old name was a lawsuit waiting to happen. And thanks to this new direction for the series, it went on to become what it's known as today, one of the highest
Also, it sucked. Magic and Wizards is a terrible name for a card game. Duel Monsters makes perfect sense.
grossing manga franchises of all time. And with a shiny new anime to go along with it, it was only a matter of time before the story based around these cards made the cards into real life purchasable merchandise. But when it comes to transitioning these cards into a real life game with rules,
See, they cite their sources on the footage they're getting. Just cite your sources on the claims you're making.
yeah, it made things a lot more complicated. Despite all this, the release of the TCG in the West had solid rules from the very beginning that gave Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of structure. You had to sacrifice monsters to play your stronger, bigger ones. You had to set a trap card face down for a turn before you could activate it. Polymerization fuses 2 or more fusion material monsters to form a new fusion monster.
By the way, you can pick it up for 2 cents of a euro.
Wait. What? That doesn't explain anything to do with how you actually fusion summon a monster. Okay, so maybe some of these early cards leave a little bit of room for interpretation on how to resolve their effects. But that was actually a huge problem for the game. This standardized rule set that the card game was trying to establish was in stark contrast to the anime, which was airing at the exact same time. Duelist Kingdom is obviously known for its wacky screw the rules type moments, so reading the rulebook
Very
for
true,
the card
Kai.
game, if you even had one, was mostly considered optional. And especially as kids who were watching the anime before we ever had the chance to get our hands on real life cards, we mostly just wanted to copy what was going on in the show. So when you have the context that we were all watching the first season of the anime with ridiculous rulings, and then you have cards in the real game that were completely up to interpretation of how they were supposed to resolve, old school playground Yu-Gi-Oh! Was less about actually being good at the game and more about just being best at convincing your opponent on why you should win. We weren't really interested in playing by the real rules. We were just trying to have fun and beat each other in any way we could, just like Yugi did. I think the main reason we had so much fun with Yu-Gi-Oh! As kids is because we didn't get bogged down by the rules we didn't care about. We just played whatever was the most fun in the most fun way and slung our cards across the table with anticipation of what was going to happen next. I don't think anyone really misses the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Because the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Mostly never even existed in the first place.
I will say, this is actually like not a bad point. It's overgeneralization for sure. Like I think there are plenty of people who knew how to play. In middle school, I think we were playing by the real rules at that point. In elementary school, maybe not. I didn't really play much in elementary school. It was a little harder to actually get a deck together at that point. But by middle school, I was able to get a deck together, and there was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Revival at my school at that point, and we knew how to play at that point. We actually knew how to play. One of my friends was actually going to locals with an Exodia deck, of course. This was like just before 5Ds, by the way, in case you're wondering time frame. So this would have been probably Teledad format, honestly. But before the Teledad part, the tele part of Teledad, it was like the early dad format before the synchro shit happened. But yeah, we were playing like during lunch breaks, and we were playing by the rules, and I was getting my ass kicked because I had a stupid fucking Blue Eyes deck. It was a Blue Eyes, Red Eyes deck with Dark Magician thrown in because it was a cool card.
Don't get me wrong, GOAT format is great. There's plenty of people who
Well, okay. GOAT format's not great, actually. It's a pretty fucking bad format.
love to play Yu-Gi-Oh! To this
Miserable
day
ass
as it
format.
existed in 2005. But it was pretty obvious from the get-go, Yu-Gi-Oh!
I get why people like Edison. I don't understand why people like GOAT
couldn't
at
stay
all.
like that forever. And I think the similarities between GOAT format 2005 and modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Are actually a lot closer than people think. GOAT format is extremely back and forth, normal summoning and attacking into trap cards, flip monsters, maybe holding back to dodge a torrential tribute, but that same back and forth gameplay is happening in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, albeit at a much, much faster pace than it's happening in GOAT format, of course.
It's happening over the course of a turn instead of over the course of several turns.
Instead of this push and
the
pull
difference.
gameplay being stretched out over multiple turn cycles, things are much more condensed, and games have much smaller turn counts.
Yeah.
But it's what happens during these turns that matters the most. A single turn of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Can have just as many points of interaction as an entire game of old school Yu-Gi-Oh! And this shift in perspective allows you to see the game we all know and love is still very much alive and well in the modern metagame of Yu-Gi-Oh! I would say the card advantage and economy-based use of effects is mostly the same today as it was back then.
What is the difference between playing around Torrential and playing around Nib? Kind of spitting, honestly.
Of course, sometimes your opponent will still full combo and you'll just lose the game. But is that so different to them opening Pot of Greed into Graceful Charity into Delinquent Duo and snowballing the entire game from there? I would argue not really. Yes, the pace of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very different to how it used to be. There's many more types of extra deck summons, there's a lot more interaction back and forth during your turn, but to be honest, the main difference of Yu-Gi-Oh! Back then compared to now is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to be just as complicated, just for all the wrong reasons. Yes, the game objectively has more rules to learn now than it ever did before, but when we look back fondly to our childhood...
That's so true, Kai. Also, it could be more hand traps. Like, sure, Pot of Greed is 2 cards, but it's not 2 cards now. It's 2 cards later. I need cards now.
Game of Yu-Gi-Oh! When we really weren't playing by the rules anyway. I think you see my point by now. So don't be mistaken, it's not links and pendulums that ruined the game. It's just a lot harder to find somebody now that will let you summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon without tributing, since we're not all 11 years old anymore. But
They just like found the most expensive blue eyes they could for that.
at the same time we were dragging our cards through the sand on the playground, there was a real competitive community starting to form around Yu-Gi-Oh! And unlike us, these people were playing by the actual rules.
Card market videos are so funny because they're supposed to be like normal Yugi tubing stuff, but then they show the cards and they show the fucking price on it, and it's like, oh yeah, this is an advertisement for buying cards on Card Market.
Was a completely different environment. Top-level Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always had exceptionally strong decks to play with throughout its history, but back then was different since most of the cards, on an individual level, were extremely simple. I mean, just look at the spell cards from the very first set, Legend of Blue Eyes. They have effects ranging from give a machine monster 300 attack and defense to gain 500 life points. In fact, out of the 126 cards in Legend of Blue Eyes, only 5 are effect monsters and only 3 are trap cards. The rest of the set was mostly
Dog shit. It's just full of dog shit.
Spell
Dude, Legend of Blue Eyes is so miserable.
cards that
It's
usually
such a
had
bad
one line of
fucking
text.
format.
Pot of Greed may be one of the strongest Yu-Gi-Oh cards ever printed, but
Doesn't fucking matter if you're drawing into nothing.
it didn't need a long, convoluted effect in order to earn that title. It's just too bad no one will ever be able to figure out what it does. So
Shut up.
Yu-Gi-Oh was at its simplest
Shut-
after the very first set
Shut-
released, which may sound obvious, but
I don't know. You're trying to appeal to the exact kind of audience. So like with this kind of video, you're trying to appeal to the exact kind of audience who would find that funny. So I guess I understand why you would do that.
the game was actually quite boring at this time as well. If you play a game with
That card is
only
fucking
cards from
insane. Yeah,
Legend of
Kai.
Blue Eyes,
It's weird. So weird.
it's not exactly the most fun thing ever. So pretty quickly, Yu-Gi-Oh started to stretch its design space into more unique effects, both for spells and traps, as well as for monster cards. Cards started to fill their text boxes more and more, which was already starting to rub people the wrong way for how much reading they had to do to understand what was going on.
source.
Things like Toon Blue Eyes White Dragon didn't even have any actual activated effects. These cards were basically just a list of rules and restrictions on how they could be used instead. And in this case, it didn't even have enough room on the card for all of its rules. The rule about needing to tribute monsters to be special summoned was literally just left off the card because of the lack of space. And players just sort of had
So
to know
funny.
that was a rule on their own. A similar thing happened with the original printing of Relinquished, which, because of its long and convoluted wording, didn't actually say it needed to be ritual summoned with its ritual spell, Black Illusion Ritual. And you best believe I had classmates who would normal summon Relinquished against me and absolutely destroy me with it. But
That's
not only
fucked up.
were there cards with rulings just not
That's
written
fucked up,
anywhere on
dude.
the card itself, there was also cards with text so confusing, they might as well have not said anything at all. Take Necro Valley, for example. As long as this card remains face up on the field, all effects of magic, trap, and or effect monster cards that involve graveyards are negated. Okay.
What does that mean?
So what does that mean? Involves graveyards is so incredibly non-specific that an argument could be made for almost any card in the game. I can't use Monster Reborn because I can't summon from the graveyard? Okay, sure. I can't activate my Sangan because it activates in the graveyard? Okay, I can see that. What about Maneater Bug when it flips up to destroy something and presumably send it to the graveyard? What about Pot of Greed? After it resolves and I draw my 2 cards, it would then be
It goes to
sent
the graveyard. Can't activate that
You can
shit.
see how for Playground Yu-Gi-Oh, this card would be an absolute nightmare. But cards like this were becoming an increasingly large problem also in the rule-abiding competitive scene for Yu-Gi-Oh as well. If your cards are confusing the 9-year-olds, that's one thing. But your adult competitive players? I think we might have a problem here. The point I'm making is that Yu-Gi-Oh has always had complicated interactions and rulings.
Yeah.
But back in the 2000s, we were kids. And let's be honest, we weren't really playing by the rules anyway.
It's literally just like, it's always been complicated, but you just didn't realize it because you didn't give a shit.
My siblings played so much Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, it's kind of insane. And even as we got a little bit older and we really tried to follow all the rules, there was no way to know if we were doing something wrong anyway. Do you think at the time we knew the difference between a cost and an effect? Now it's as simple as looking for a semicolon, but back then, you must be dreaming.
God,
Or did
yeah.
we know that when you attack a penguin soldier, it can't choose itself to return to the hand with its effect because it's set to be destroyed by the battle that it was just in? No, of course not.
Yeah,
What is
exactly,
set to be
Tristan. I
destroyed?
really
Even if
do
we wanted to
prefer
look that up,
actually
that's
playing
not
a
something
game.
That's in the rule book anyway. These are kinds of rulings that you just had to know were a thing if you wanted to play the game properly. And at the time, we just had no idea. All of this is to say, Yu-Gi-Oh has always been complicated. Ever since the introduction.
It turns out that most card games are actually pretty complicated. You can say what you will about the barrier to entry of Yu-Gi-Oh, but it really is that just we don't have the resources put into lowering that barrier. Magic the Gathering as a game is pretty hard to get into if you don't have all the tools that Witches of the Coast have made, and also local communities have made, for getting into Magic the Gathering. There's so many words you wouldn't know what the fuck they mean if there weren't the resources put into making that happen, right?
Of the TCG, you have rulings that you just need to know exist and how they work and specific interactions and
Like, how are you supposed to learn how the stack works without people teaching you how it works, right?
how they work in order to play the game by the rules. And I don't want this to sound like I'm making a big deal out of very niche and specific interactions that never actually came up in games. The truth is, past the first few sets, you had to know what all the cards did on your own because reading them really wasn't going to help you. To illustrate my point with a bit of a broader topic, let's take something as simple as targeting. Targeting is
Yes, what cards target and what cards don't target.
very important in Yu-Gi-Oh! Since non-targeted removal tends to come at a premium and has far less counterplay than effects that do target. Today, we take for granted that if a card says the word target in its effect, that means it targets, and if it doesn't say target, then it obviously doesn't. But this was not always the case. Before card text was standardized with problem-solving card text in 2011, there were plenty of cards that
Return one monster on the field to its owner's hand. Flip one face-up monster on the field to face down the defense position.
you just had to know if they were effects that targeted
Select
or
one
not.
face-up
A lot of
monster
cards
on the
back then
field.
used the word select, which is a pretty close equivalent to target. But there was also plenty of cards that had nothing even close to that. Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, Breaker the Magical Warrior, and Tribute to the Doomed are all cards that target, even though none of them say anything about doing so. Players at the time just tended to use a rule of thumb that cards that felt like they targeted probably did and would be ruled so by a judge. And that was about as far as it went. There was no way to know 100% for certain just by reading a
I actually don't really like cards that I'm not gonna say I prefer it that way because it's really vague and I don't like that part of it. But I really don't like effects that don't target but feel like they should be targeting. Like Mirror Jade's Banish effect, for instance. It's targeting, it's just not targeting, literally speaking. Like, it's not using the language of targeting, but it absolutely does target something. It's a little annoying, I don't know.
card if it was targeting or not, which is such a ridiculous oversight in translation that I'm surprised the game was even playable at all, to be honest. I'm just glad I wasn't old enough to be a serious competitive player at this
It's
time.
fraud,
because
exactly.
It sounds like a nightmare to have kept up with all the implied and hidden mechanics.
If your effect has a single target or even multiple targets, instead of just being a board wipe, essentially, it should target. I don't know.
Of the game without just going and becoming a judge on your own. As soon as cards had more than one or two lines
Access
of text,
code,
they
non-targeting.
became
Yeah, what the fuck?
very bad at explaining what they were actually trying to do in the game. And to make matters worse, not all judges are created equal. So going down to your local card shop and playing one week, ask the judge a ruling, he might tell you something completely different than what you hear when you go to a high-level event. And there was nothing you could do about it. And sadly, it took a long time for this problem to be fixed. For the entire GX era and for most of the 5Ds era as well, cards continued to get more and more complicated without any way to properly digest how their effects
I can't believe
really
the game went on so long without problem-solving card text. Isn't that
the
fucking
inconsistent
insane?
wording on these cards and their effects just continued to make things more and more confusing. Although there were a lot of very simple, powerful cards seeing play at this time, things like Cyber Dragon, DD Warrior Lady, and Sekretsu Armor, the problems that already existed.
Hold on, how'd you say that one again?
Like
How'd you say that one
Cyber
again?
Dragon, DD Warrior Lady, and Sekretsu Armor.
Sakretsu? I get that actually because it's Sakuretsu. Like there's like a really light
The problems that already existed for
on
more
the
complicated cards
Sakuretsu.
just continued to get worse and worse. And finally, in 2011,
Oh, Prio
we
as
got
well, yeah.
problem-solving card text, which completely standardized the way Yu-Gi-Oh card effects are written and made the game much easier to understand.
Can we get the DV grinder pronunciation of Sakuretsu?
Even with all the new
Please.
extra deck mechanics of synchros and exes, and even later pendulums and links, these texts are so much easier to understand than an old school Yu-Gi-Oh card once you learn how to properly read in the modern Yu-Gi-Oh era. Once you play for a while, scanning for the useful information on a card becomes almost like a second nature. And you can oftentimes guess what certain sections of the card will even say before you read it. So although it may look intimidating, I promise modern Yu-Gi-Oh card text is actually extremely digestible when you compare it to the nonsense.
Now, if we just had the fucking, page breaks, not page breaks, but the numbers, the numbered effects of the OCG, it would be downright perfect.
Of the first printing of some of these old school cards. Yeah, I'm looking at you, last turn. But it was around this time the gameplay of Yu-Gi-Oh started to shift heavily as well. Not just the way that the cards were written. Synchros and exes both hit the scene like a freight train, causing tons of players to quit upon both of their respective arrivals.
So I've actually done some research into this one specifically. It half true. It's only half true. It happened a little bit on the local scene, but on the grand tournament scene, there really wasn't this mass exodus that people said there was. I don't know.
But I always found this kind of strange. To me, adding more extra deck play seemed like a very natural progression for the mechanics and core.
Most of the people who say that they quit when synchros or exes entered into the scene weren't really playing seriously anyways.
Gameplay loop of how Yu-Gi-Oh functions. I mean, think about it. Yu-Gi-Oh is a game of resource management.
I wouldn't mind page
ever
breaks,
since
but
the very beginning,
or at least
the person
you know,
who
line
runs out
breaks.
of
I mean,
cards first is
page
probably
breaks
going
are
to lose.
pretty.
And as the game has
that'd be pretty
evolved,
effective
we've been
actually.
given more and more resources to stretch to whatever limits.
Mid-core Yu-Gi-Oh players in
Searches
shambles.
from the deck,
These wouldn't
more
even be
graveyard play,
mid-core
and
for the
of
most
course, more
part.
extra deck mechanics to summon. And all of these things are an extension of what Yu-Gi-Oh's core gameplay
It would be
is
only the
about.
extremely
Using
casual.
more card economy,
Maybe
build
some
as
mid-core.
much advantage as you possibly can to shut your opponent out of the game. Compared to fusion summons, I think extra deck mechanics that don't require multiple specific cards from your main deck in your hand in order to activate and summon makes a lot of sense. It seems like a very smooth advancement of what Yu-Gi-Oh was kind of already doing, but still allowing players to have more freedom in how they play their cards. I never fully understood the hate
really
for
cool.
synchro monsters when they were introduced, other than new thing is bad. It seems like a very, very simple way to summon something from the extra deck, and is actually easier to explain to someone than explaining how to fusion summon if you think about it.
Or ritual
And
summon,
summoning
good
is
lord.
even easier than synchro. You don't even have to add the levels together. My point
No
is,
more math,
yes,
no more math.
these are new rules that were added to the game. But the way they diversified the gameplay and gave players more options to play more cards seemed like a great addition in my mind. So overall, I don't think modern Yu-Gi-Oh being too complicated is the real problem. I genuinely think a newer player looking to get into the game can have a lot of fun, especially if they have a baseline of the older rules already. All the new things that have been added as actual gameplay rules are not that complicated, I promise. And also, all the cards are written so clearly now, if you just take the time to read them, they will fully explain what is going on.
Reading the card explains the
Of
card.
course, there is fringe situations and scenarios where cards interact in a certain way that you're not going to understand. But that's true of any card game, not just Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think this is the real problem. There's not a good way for new players to get the time and experience with the cards in order to be able to learn the game properly. Master Duel, after you're done the tutorial, basically just throws you to the wolves. And yes, there is a solo
the
mode that
Master Duel tutorial could be so much better.
you'll
It's
probably
crazy
have a good
how
idea
bad
of
it
all the
is.
rules by the end of it if you
If
do
it
everything.
had a section explaining hand traps and how to use them,
But it doesn't
that would do
exactly
so
push
much.
you in that direction. So most people simply aren't going to play that way. So if you've made it this far and modern Yu-Gi-Oh does sound fun, I would recommend grabbing a friend and having them teach it to you. Someone you can
That's
ask
really the
questions
easiest
to,
way.
and just
It's really
worry
the
about
easiest
having
way.
some fun.
If you haven't gotten into Yu-Gi-Oh and you're watching the stream somehow and you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh, it's literally as easy as getting someone who knows how to play Yu-Gi-Oh to teach you. It's not that hard to get taught how to play. It really just needs to be someone and not just something, right? There's not a one easy trick to learning Yu-Gi-Oh. It's just getting taught by someone.
Don't take
That's
it too
all.
seriously. Don't feel like you have to learn everything right away. Just go into it with an open mind of always wanting to learn more. The reason old school Yu-Gi-Oh was so fun was because Yu-Gi-Oh was whatever we wanted it to be. It was constantly shifting and changing to go wherever we deemed the most fun was to be had. And if you're brave enough to give the modern Yu-Gi-Oh a try, I think you might just be surprised at what you find. Thanks for watching.
He ends his videos like I do, apparently. I like the thanks for watching. It just feels nice and final, right? Anyways, I think this is actually a pretty good video. Like, we were making fun at the beginning, but it is like how you have to reel these people in, I think. Just like dragging them, pleading with them to play modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Even if it is an advertisement for Card Market. All right, I think we're going to take a quick little ad break, and then we'll be right back with Angelecki. All right, see you in a second, everyone. All right, folks, we're back and we're readied up and waiting. We're going to do a little bit of Angel-eki Genesis format. Hopefully it's legal now. I think it is. All right, we get to go first. Does Handle do it? All right, so we're going to grab Conduction Warrior, Linear plus minus Magnum. Do the special summoning condition. We'll send Sigma and Epsilon. This deck is heinous, by the way. Just be prepared for that. Summon the Epsilon. No interaction. Oh, God. I feel sorry for them, then. We'll send Omega to summon the Sigma. Alright, we can go Gallant Granite. Gallant Granite. Add a card. We'll detach the Sigma. What the Sigma? We'll grab Researcher. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna go... So we go Omega Plus for sure. I want to go... I think we'll pop Granite. We want to get that off the field. Gonna go Researcher. Researcher and Omega make Rose Witch. Rage Rose Witch. Rage Rose Witch will send Bramble Rose and Romarin. Romarin will then summon, or send the Fengli. Fengli will summon itself. No, we don't want to do that. Cancel. Okay, whatever. Who gives a shit? Alright, now we can make Bramble. We unfortunately don't have the option to make what we want to make here, which is the, we don't have enough stuff to do what the cool thing would be to make. So instead we're going to go just normal summon the Sigma minus Bramble Rose, summon the Romarin, make Glitch Clutch Null Gainer, Null Gainer effect, grab Witness, Witness effect since we have Synchros on field, Witness effect to summon a token and put all the shit in the back row. So we can actually go just Destrier Bastion, Shatranga, Bup, 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 and then we summon the token. And then we'll go Shatranga and Destrier, grab a spell, grab the trap card, and then we'll make Juraishin using Witness and the token. And then we'll go Angel-eki Problem, activate the problem, discarding the problem to summon Enlisted, and put another Destrier in the back row. So we can set the trap and just have that going, or we can make Levelazable. Bull? I don't know. I don't know if it would be better to make this or do the Disturbance. I'm going to go with making Levelazable. We'll set the card anyways. And we'll end on that. So what we have up right now is a Steel. Juraishin will gain us... okay, so they're going to go Dark Ruler No More and take a bunch of stuff there. The Dark Ruler No More doesn't affect our back row here. But it is going to stop our monsters from doing shit. Xian's Dojo. Awesome. They only have 5 effects, though. They only have 5 attempts at effects, even. Anarchist Monk of the Six Samurai. Okay. 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 Like, we don't really have any interaction at this point, because we used the Angeleki monster, but we do have Shatranga and 2 Destroyers, so they're limited in what they can actually do here. Okay. Okay. Is that 5 effects yet? Five monster effects, I should say. So it might not be 5 yet. What does this do? Return them to the hand. Okay. I mean, they can't do anything, so sure. Whatever. Okay. They have 3 effects to win here. Okay. Hi there. We can summon something. Romarin. Oh, you know, Romarin actually would be really good to summon here. Yeah, Romarin. Because then we can make Jiraishin again. Alright, now they have 2 activations. And there's one of them. I'm doing alright, how are you? We're playing some very evil Yu-Gi-Oh! Here today. Main 2. I will pass on that. They've disconnected and will, if they do not reconnect soon, they'll lose. Yeah. Look, you came in with the fucking stupid 6 Samurai deck. It is gonna go second one apparently though, with the Dark Ruler no more. But I feel like our decks were pretty equally evil, honestly. What's evil about this version? I don't know what they're doing, honestly, because they weren't able to do what they're supposed to be doing because our deck is eviler. Probably more evil. Way more evil. I would assume. Let's get another game in. Well, I guess we're just gonna sit here. Oh! That was fast. Alright, we're going first again. We do have linear, Conduction Warrior linear plus Magnum, minus Magnum. So we do have it. Very important card here. By the way, don't worry about this deck. You should have, like, ways to deal with it. But don't worry too much about it being, like, super powerful or whatever. It is not that good. We'll just send the other Omega, I think. Yeah, Dueling Nexus is the only place I can consistently get Genesis games. Alright, Gallant Granite. Gallant Granite to add. We need Researcher. Of course, we did have the awkward thing of drawing the Fengli. Okay. You couldn't handle the fucking combo? Sorry, are Magnet Warriors too boring for the Yugi Boomer? It's the same person. Will they run away? No, they're going for it. Well, at least we get to show what it's going second, which is it has hand traps. Okay. They're on rocks too. Oh. Oh, they're on bad rocks. Oh, they're on like really bad rocks. Oh no, dude. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. They disconnected again! They disconnected again! We have full combo too! Oh my god. Yeah. I'm sorry, you really shouldn't fucking be playing Kawaki Miru even in Genesis format. I'm so sorry. Oh god. Okay, it's a different person. It's a new person. Alright, they're on scissors. Alright, alright. We've got combo. Oh, we got good combo in hand too. Oh, they're on Fairy Tail. This is a real deck. Yeah. We don't have any hand traps. We do have a kaiju in hand. We've got Twin Twisters, but we don't have... Oh boy. What are you gonna get off of this? They could get fucking Zombie World. That would be devastating. Oh yeah, they can use the special summon from hand too. God, this card is crazy. Oh, they didn't use the field spell. Okay. Okay, so Crystal Wing is pretty rough. What next? What next? What next for you, Hoofding? Hoofdling? All right, Rella. I have not read these cards since they were revealed. I remember vaguely what they do, but I don't remember the specifics. All right, Weaver. Okay. The EB Deeber. That's funny. Okay, what does this fucking do again? So it just gives it extra attack points. Oh, okay. So that kind of deals with the whole board, right? That kind of deals with the board, if I'm understanding correctly. And here, what does this one do? Attack directly when there's a special summons a monster you control a fairy tale. Ah, yes. Okay. So we'll want to do this. And I think I actually want to discard the Gardala. We'll go for that in the back row, the face down. Ah, super poly. Yep. Good hit. All right, magnet bonding. We have full combo here. Kind of an awkward one because we're going second, and our deck really just wants to go first. But we can still do some stuff. I mean, we can still do a lot of stuff, honestly. Ooh, is that a DD Crow in hand? Maybe a Skullmeister? They're thinking about it. Ghost Bell. Okay. Okay, Ghost Bell. That's unfortunate. What do we do from here then? This feels weird. I think we go just normal summon that guy. We could use the fusion summon effect. I think I just want to normal summon him. We'll go Researcher. Oh god, that was a fucking good hit. Wow, that's a fucking good hit. That's crazy. That's literally the best hit it could have been. I mean, at this point, we can kind of do whatever the fuck we want. I don't even know what I want off of the Gallant Granite. But I have it, so I might as well use it. Oh, we could get Seeker. Yeah, we could get Seeker. I think that's correct. All right, Rage Rose. Come on! I sat through your fucking fairy tale combo that did nothing. You could sit through my combo. This is what I hate about dueling Nexus. Nobody wants to sit through fucking combos. Whatever. You get the picture. You get the idea. We were gonna summon Bramble Rose and then, you know, do the thing where we get to the Null Gainer, and that was gonna get us into the Angel Eki stuff. We were going to use the Seeker to help make some of these extra, like the level Lazabel, and the duration would be off of the Witness of the Ancient. You know the deal. That was basically what was going to happen. I think it's more the case in Dueling Nexus because Dueling Nexus is a bit more casual. In Omega, where you can't get any Genesis duels, but if you're playing normal Omega, you usually will find people who sit through your combos for the most part. Master Duel, people tend to sit through them more because people are more expecting the combos. I don't know about Dueling Book, but I don't really use Dueling Book. I don't really like non-auto sims because I don't play a lot of paper, so I don't need to practice for it. Yeah, like I think Dueling Nexus just has a much more casual audience that ends up scooping pretty quickly. I don't know. But yeah, this deck is horrible. This deck is heinous. So the idea is that like you can really extremely consistently set up the. You just saw it. I played like 3 games there, and I had the combo every single time. You can extremely consistently get through, put up all your Angel Eki shit, and also Bramble Rose, which is also a Tax Dragon, 600 attack there, or 600 damage right here. I mean, and also you can set up. Oftentimes you can set up Flare Metal Dragon. So there's even more Tax Dragon on the field. It's It's fucking crazy. You can set up both Destroyers, Bramble Rose, and Flare Metal for a total of 21 damage every time they activate a card or effect. But you can also, in addition to that, you get Jiraishin, and you can get Livelazabile, and you can also have the fucking Angelecki trap set up. It's really fucking cool in a heinous kind of way. Like, in the way I'm so fascinated by decks that are just evil, this is one of those, and it is fucking fascinating. It is just like how consistent it is too. They're going to have to hit more of these magnet cards. They're going to have to hit these magnet cards more. Like, I don't know. They just got to be hit more. And the Angelecki card should probably be hit too. Shatranga should not be 0 points. Destroyer should probably be more than 1 point. Bramble Rose might need to be more, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think it's probably fine where it's at. It's really the Angelecki and the magnet stuff that needs to be hit more, I think, out of this deck. But if you're getting scared about this deck, like you're worried about this deck in Genesis format, I wouldn't worry so much. As you saw, going second, it's kind of an awkward deck. It does put up a lot of bodies at least, so it can actually go for lethal, but it really only does the one line. So if your actual main combo line of your deck puts up more interactions than this deck can handle, that's kind of it, right? And this deck, I think, is extremely weak to shit like Skullmeister, DD Crow, Ghost Bell, anything that hits his graveyard hate. And this format is so full of graveyard hate. If we hadn't had just a normal summon rock in hand, that combo would have ended there, right? The fact that we don't have to use our normal summon for our combo is a lifesaver in a lot of cases. It lets us play stuff like Romarin and Fengli to do this combo fully. But it also means like it's also just a symptom of how weak this deck is that it doesn't use its normal summon, but like sometimes it needs to actually get back into the game. It's rough. And also another thing is that like if we hadn't lucked into Epsilon off the top, we would have been fucking screwed. Epsilon off the top from Researcher was fucking like was crazy. We wouldn't have necessarily been screwed, but it would have been significantly worse. That really opened up stuff for us. Maybe we'll do another one, see if we can get another game. Nobody here? There they are. It's so much faster to find Genesis games on on Dueling Nexus than it is on Omega for some reason. Oh, weird. Witness of the Ancient in hand. Funnily enough, we actually kind of have to do some awkward stuff here. So we're gonna go Sigma Researcher. Go Researcher. See what we got off the top. What the fuck, dude? Holy shit. Epsilon is such a crazy hit. We've hit it both times. We actually don't have another card in Grave, but we do at least get the Omega Plus in Grave. Honestly, I kind of just want to, without the extra hit, I think we have to just go combo here and not go for Gallant Granite. We don't really need Gallant Granite. Granted, we don't actually need Null Gainer either. Kind of a weird situation here where we drew into the Witness. And we didn't get the hit off of Epsilon. So we'll make Bramble. We'll go Bramble. Summoning the Romarin. Of course, also we don't have a card to pop for Omega either. Like, I guess we go Null Gainer? Kind of weird when we already have the Witness in hand. Right. So I just had to think what the fuck we're doing. There we go. Tolkien. And then we'll get our searches. Get the trap card. Get the spell card. Let's make Juration. And we'll go problem. We'll activate problem. Pitching problem. Could also pitch Twin Twisters there. Get enlisted. And put Destrier on the forward board. I think this time I'm actually going to leave enlisted on the field to activate its effect and stuff. We could go Leva Visible or whatever, but I think we'll just do it this. Kashtira Unicorn. Okay. All right, we'll go Disturbance here to give them enlisted. Are they reading it? It must be. No. There you go. Teehee. 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 I don't need to do that. Enlisted is back with a brand new invention. Also, that's their own activated effect. Isn't that fucked up? That counts as one of their own activated monster effects, which also uses up a Shatranga effect as well. Isn't that so fucked up? Dude, this deck is fucking evil, dude. Oh my god. This deck is so evil. And we haven't even gotten the hand that makes Flare Metal too. Honestly, it's coming by so infrequently, I'm considering cutting Flare Metal for something more useful. Like, you see I have on the side here some cards I would side in like going first situations potentially. Or like specific situations like Exciton Knight. Wow. This deck is so fucking evil. Hi, Kai. This deck is fucked up. But yeah, in situations where you have like extra magnets in hand and you draw the Sigma minus, you can make some of these fusion spells, fusion monsters, I mean. And they're both level 7s. You can use them to make Flare Metal. It's funny. It's teehee. It's haha. It's silly. Maybe one more game, then we'll call it. Same person? Oopsie. It's the white RS. Like IRS, but white. I know that looks like whiters. Yeah, I was confused. Oh, we get to see what they're actually on this time. That's cool. Oh wait, no, they're on Kashtira, right? We know that. What is I guess Riseheart? Riseheart's a level 4 fire you can get off of the Battling Boxer. Are there any good hits to Kashtira off of DD Crow? Feels like a weird one. They revealed the giant hand. I don't know what they get off of giant hand. Oh, it's giant hand's like a warrior, right? So it can or whatever. Amelia Ignited, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Apparently, whatever they're getting, they're having to think about it. Giant hand is an earth rock. Level 4 as well. I don't know what they get. Oh, hat tricker. Sure. I've seen some of those, yeah. What was that? That hat tricker affect the sum? Or no, Teal'c's Kashtira. Okay. Kashtira Theosis. Okay. Turns out there is a hit off of DD Crow. What the kadoosh? What the fuck is this deck? It's like Kashtira, but also rank 4 nonsense? Though, to be fair, we're also playing straight bullshit. You should have seen the last game. Okay. What the fuck does this card do? Detach any material, talk about any monsters your opponent controls, shuffle them into the deck. Okay. That's pretty rough. What does this card do? Special summon a... Okay, that's not really relevant right now. Skullmeister for turn is interesting. I think we actually go Angelecki Problem right off the bat here. Pitching the Twin Twister. Get our enlisted. And get Destroyer on field. Activate Destroyer. And see what they do to that. Because we have full combo in the back wings. They're thinking about it. They're thinking hard about it. They're thinking real hard about it. Is that why they're on Kashtiras? To make Constellar Ptolemy stuff? Do it. Damn it, they didn't do it. Oh shit, I should have put this in a... Oh wait, no, it's actually the perfect spot for it. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, now they're gonna activate it. Okay. Now we combo. Now we combo. Sorry, I have full combo. I had it the whole time. Oh my god. Oh shit. I fucked up there, but it's okay. We have the normal summon. I got UI'd there for a second. Oh my god. Whew. All right, researcher. See if researcher gets anything off the top. No. Damn. That's annoying. Yeah, we're gonna need to do that. We actually might not have full combo without the researcher hit. Which would be that fuck up having to normal summon it was pretty rough actually. Oopsie. I wish it didn't have that. Yeah, get halved. Okay, I could just go Null Gainer right now. I think that's the path forward, actually. So we go Fengli for Null Gainer. Null Gainer effect. Grab Witness. Bramble. For Fengli instead of Romarin. Then we can make Bramble. Now we can go Witness. Whew. Okay, we found a way out. Oh. This deck is pretty forgiving, actually. Surprisingly. Okay, we don't have lethal, but we are going to hit them for a lot. What does this guy do? Target monster, zero attack, special summon it. Negate its effects, can be used as material for zero exceeds or link summon. Okay. I don't think I want to do that. I think we just go battle here. We have to get the we're gonna get the Kashtira Tearlint in the gray, which is unfortunate. Oh. Right, doesn't do anything. Main 2. We set this. Good luck, motherfucker! Okay, Rise Heart. Activate it. I don't remember what a Constellar Belt does, so I can't tell you. Okay, yeah, I was about to say. You're about to get a bunch of damage. What a fucking evil deck. Again, if you want to prepare for this deck, DD Crow, Skullmeister, Ghost Bell, they all hit it, and they also all hit some of the Tellarknight stuff that's been going around too. So you should absolutely be running DD Crow, Skullmeister, Ghost Bell if you can afford it. I think you'll be set with that kind of thing. Run Fulos if you can afford it. I think that's a really good card to be running right now because it just draws you into more interaction. Yeah, this deck is fucking heinous. I love it. I also like the one Pair Bear Scare. I think it's fun to run one just to fuck over people who run Pair Bear Scare, and you have two more in the side deck if they're not running it, in which case it's a really strong card. It's fun. It's fun. All right. I think that's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to send you over somewhere else now, and we're going to have a great time. I'm going to put the aquarium on while I figure out where we're going to run. Raid, I mean. Exclamation point socials. In chat, we'll get you my website where you can find everywhere that I'm at. Let's see who we're going to send you to. Let's send you to Flora. Flora is running Terraria. That's a fun game. And you're going to have a great time over there. When you get over there, be kind and courteous, as I'll ask you. With that said, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye, everyone. See you next time. Bye.